The story's mix of archetypal myth and cosmological realism. The creation account in Genesis 1 contains a high degree of cosmological realism if we allow for the limitations of human knowledge at this early stage of human civilizational development. It does nevertheless contain elements of archetypal myth too, as can be seen in the ideal state of the finished world, in which both the animals and man only eat the fruit, leaves, and seeds of plants, not meat, which would require the deaths of whatever animals were eaten. The creation depicted so far is a realm of perfect harmony and peace, in which the proverbial lion lays down with the lamb. This, of course, isn't realistic from a cosmological or ecological viewpoint, but it does present to us a vision of living things' primordial comportments that are blissful and blessed to be inherently untroubled, fearless, and characterized by inner peace. We can take the presentation of this ideal state as our original condition to be the central message of this archetypal element. We are not to think of it as merely an ideal to be desired, but as a natural state that we all should rightly be able to enjoy. This sets us up to feel dissatisfied with anything less, and to believe that achieving what essentially is our birthright is entirely realistic. To return to the story's sequence of creation, after God's original creation of the four elements from nothing, he then proceeds to form what begins as formless chaos into the ordered universe that we all experience. He separates things and moves them around in relation to each other until everything is in place for the earth and the seas to bring forth living things and teem with life. They achieve this at God's command, and so at this point in the story, we've seen three modes of divine creativity. 1. Creation of the four elements from nothing in a manner that necessarily involves the sexual principle in the act of creation itself and in what is created. 2. Formation of the cosmos from these four elements through the principle of order, which recapitulates the sexual principle at every stage. 3. Commanding the ordered cosmos to bring forth living things, which is a command that it act according to the fecund sexual nature that God has already given it. After this, only the human being receives further commands, which all involve him acting obediently in accordance with the instructions God gives him. In this respect, another significant mythological element immediately follows, namely the device of having God, after creating the cosmos in 6 days, rest on the seventh and declare it to be holy. For in terms of its impact on human beings globally, the provision of a day of rest from work to allow contemplation, thanksgiving, and appreciative enjoyment of the goodness of creation is, culturally speaking, probably the most far-reaching of God's commands in Genesis 1.